Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Angela Rockstar.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and today joining us, he is one of my favorite former coworkers, former Amazing Race contestant, and member of the string quartet Welsh Drum.
Hello. My name's Chris Marchant. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
So yeah, we're here to talk Graduation Day Part 1 for the episode's 25th anniversary.
Yes.
How did we feel revisiting this episode? Angela, what'd you think?
I really felt a lot of nostalgia. I have a personal, Seth Green was my first, I would say that was like my hormonal awakening, if you will. I love Seth Green.
Yeah.
My current boyfriend actually favors Seth Green. Like he looks like him. And he was like, he actually said to me, I didn't think you thought I was that attractive until you randomly told me that you were first attracted to Seth Green. And then I was like, that's weird, but people say I look like him.
Listen,
wow, I'm so glad it worked out for you.
Yeah.
But Chris, what'd you think revisiting it?
For me, this episode very much falls in like the A block of Buffy episodes. Like, I think most episodes either fall into like super plot driven, like all the characters that you like love and are rooting for, and you have like the strongest parasocial relationships with are out here on the front lines. It's very plot heavy. So like this one for me is action packed. This is one that I would have craved seeing anew, as a kid. I would have been on the edge of my seat plot wise. So those tend to be my favorite. They pull at the heartstrings the most. I mean, especially when we're talking about the 25th anniversary of this episode.
I know.
So it's definitely like a top tier.
Fair. I feel so old every time I I'm like, 25th anniversary, because I'm like, no, but I watched this. I liked this episode. How could it possibly be that old? But yeah, I do like this beginning. We get the Cordy and Xander, so because I watched these VHS, I like, and when you're younger, it was like, I liked the show, but I didn't start obsessively watching till season 5. So I think I always just thought Xander and Cordelia were friends because I really liked this friend moment. And it feels so casual. And it's really weird because I like the lines in this when he says something about, I campaigned for the whatever colors. And she's like, you in relation to fashion, I'm a wash and a sea of confusion.
Yes.
And then when he says, you know what I mean? And she goes, seldom if ever. But
seldom if ever.
She doesn't care, right? Like she's just like, whatever about everything he's saying. But isn't being mean. She's just very Cordelia about her. She's like
very Cordelia. And then like later in the episode, I think then they're talking about the approaching ascension. Yeah. And Xander's freaking out, and Cordelia says, "Oh, are you going to go to 5th period?"
Yeah. Which is so her and so wonderful. I just love her. And we get, I even like, the Willow and Harmony when Buffy's like, don't you hate her? She's like, with a fiery vengeance. She picked on me for 10 years, the vacuous tramp. But I do feel like, I don't know, that kind of is what it's like at a big public high school.
Totally.
Right?
Let's talk about Joyce in this episode. She is so endearing to me, and contrastly to the father figures who are arguably the mayor, Wesley, and Giles, who all have their own way of maybe failing in this. Maybe Giles doesn't fail in this, but Buffy's mom is just like, oh, you're going to be fighting a demon, then I'll be right here because I can't be anywhere else.
Right.
It's just like, I'm here because you have to be, and so I will be, no matter what that means.
Which I do like. I do almost wish Joyce had gotten to stay for the fight, right? I wouldn't have mind. I mean, I understand, why Buffy is like, no, because I will be distracted because I would want to save my mom. But I would have liked if Joyce got a little bit to do with that kind of stuff. I really like in School Hard when she saves Buffy from Spike and she hits Spike with the axe and is like, get the hell away from my daughter. It's very Ripley and Aliens.
Iconic.
Yeah. And I always wonder if they toyed with the idea of doing more of that because I mean, that moment kind of comes out of like nowhere, but it makes sense because it's her fucking kid. But I wish we'd gotten just a little more of that, right?
Sure, yeah, they could pepper that in a little more
Yeah.
often, and I would be pleased.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like when when Joyce is like, "What is a big demon attacking?" Oh God, I wish your life was different. Like I do the like momness there. Angela, how would you react if you found out one of your kids was a vampire slayer?
I mean, yeah, it's like it's tough because your kid is that you almost have to kind of at that point really let them get away with any. Oh, you're failing school. Okay, well, did you stop the big bad coming? Cool. Like, I mean, you
Don't
gotta
forget to eat your vegetables.
right. It's got to be so. Oh, you're dating a 400-year-old vampire. Cool. Like, I mean, like, what? Like it's got to be so. He tells you you're mature for your age. That like,
Yeah.
If my kid was a Slayer, I would be so jealous. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Gypsy Rose moment. Like, get off the stage. It's my turn. I want to be the Slayer.
Chris, that is one of my biggest defenses of Dawn is like, yes, she was a nightmare because I would also have been a nightmare if I was 14, found out I wasn't real, my mom died, my sister was a superhero, and then also my sister died. Like, I just
don't think that that's enough motivation to want to completely derail the show and like almost get it canceled.
It didn't. It just UPN paid more for it, and WB did not want to pay more for it. So I mean,
Dawn never bothered me. Probably because I was probably about the same age as her when the show came out. And when it was like, I might have been maybe a few. I mean, she never really. I got it because it's like your older sister is the greatest hero in in every generation. You're living in that shadow, honey, and then you're not even real. Like,
yeah. And then the mom dies and your sister dies. I'm like, you have your like cool lesbian aunts to raise you, but like, one of them's maybe an addict.
I still don't think that's enough of an excuse to be a bad actor.
Okay, so moving on. We do a lot of checking in with characters, and I feel like this is absolutely why it's so when we get to the end of part 2 that like it's like, oh right, that character, oh yeah, that character. We see Percy, who we only had really seen in Doppelgangland with like Vampire Willow beating him up. Chris, I don't know if did you ever watch Jawbreaker, Chris?
Not in a long time, like a couple decades.
Because I can never see him without thinking of Rose McGowan shoving that popsicle down his throat in
Oh, didn't even realize that was him. Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for that connective tissue.
You're welcome. That was a very important memory to young Ian.
To your hormonal awakening.
Yes. That and Punk Spike. So we see, and I like even when Willow says to Oz, like, no, Percy, like she's even worried about Percy just because like they're having all this nostalgia and they're having all these like feelings. Xander sees Anya, and I feel like Anya's such a good character that like, I don't know, one of you said it earlier, like she's still learning, and I really like that because I feel she feels like they knew what they wanted to do with her pretty early on, because this still tracks with like the Anya we know in season 7 where like she's learned a lot more about humanity, and like this is like newly human Anya, and she's trying to assimilate, she's trying to fit in, but she just like doesn't quite get it all. And that makes sense because she hasn't been human for like a billion years. I don't know. I'm curious what you two think, because I love these early Anya scenes planting seeds for later of like what she will become.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. Like she comes out swinging with a personality that doesn't really change.
Yeah.
Like even as she continues to learn, and it's evident that she's learning, the personality is still like, "Where's the money?"
Yeah.
Which I obviously love. I can't fault her in any way. Because that is what we should all be doing, right? Continuing to learn.
Yeah, Anya's a great character. She's funny because she's got this insane background, but she is a person, but then she became a demon. She's like, she's in between these two worlds, and she knows so much that, but she's also just a girl
Yeah.
as
Right.
well.
Also knows so little.
Right. Knows nothing about being a human.
Yeah.
Even though she was one back in like what, the Norse era?
Yeah.
She was a Viking or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I do really like that, and like I don't know, I think that like Anya, just the character idea of Anya is such a good idea. Like this demon who's like stuck human, isn't like fully going evil or trying to, she wants to get back to being a demon, but isn't doing like evil things. She did like the one thing in Doppelganger Land, but isn't like going evil. She's just kind of like, well, I guess I'm stuck here. Let me learn about being human.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah.
I'm like,
I love in this episode in particular, she the exchange she has with Xander, like, well, you'll probably just get in the way. Fine, I hope you die. Aren't we
Yeah.
going to kiss?
yeah.
So toxic. Oh my god.
Which, like, if a normal like sophomore girl, senior girl, said that, it would be like, just full of teenage drama. But like a 1,000-year-old demon saying that, it's just really funny because it's like she used to like curse and kill men for a living. So it's just a funny juxtaposition now that she's like in this human body and dealing with temporary human emotions.
I mean, that's probably all she knew, though, being a demon, is hearing these toxic love stories. So it was probably like we would fight and then we would fuck and then we would, like, and so that's all she knows. She's like, wait, I hate you. Are we going to kiss now? Like,
yeah, I feel like arguably you could even say like now she's learning from like TV, right? Because she's not experiencing a lot of things. So she's probably
it does feel like she's learning from TV.
Right?
Yeah.
She probably like watched Dawson's Creek and was like, "Oh, that's how it goes." And
Dawson's Creek.
So I do like when we bring her in and she's able to tell them about kind of what's going on. And when she's like, "Oh, you've never seen a real demon," and Buffy's like, excuse me," and we learn that he's like becoming the like full embodiment of a demon or whatever. I also like that Willow consistently does not like Anya, and she's like, "Why is she here?" Like, I like that Willow holds a grudge, and
what's Evil Girl doing here? Which probably has something like a little bit to do with residual Xander tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Well, I mean, and the fact that she did trick her into doing that spell that brought her like evil vampire.
Okay, sure, that too.
Yeah.
Maybe that. And then we, where do we get next? Oh, and then we that's when we get Anya, which I don't know why, but this just the way she says, if there's a lunar shuttle taking off, I'll be on it. Like I think about that a lot. Then we get Cordelia when he's like, oh, she's freaking out because of May Ascension. And she's like, I'm going to skip 5th period. And
me too.
Yeah. I love shit like that. Cause it's like, again, like what we said earlier, how it's like, they know the world's ending. They know that they have all these important things, but also they are high school students. So like the high school shit is still kind of important to them.
Right.
Go ahead, Chris.
On that note of the high school shit being important, I wanted to talk about Angel and Buffy's quarrel that they have right before he gets shot. She is like very well. I first of all, I think I side with her in that quarrel. Like he's just broken up with her, and then is just trying to be all sweet and like, oh, let me help you and I'll escort you. And she's like, no, like, are you fucking kidding? Get out of here. And I would totally be the same way. Like, okay, if you're not like here 100%, then get the fuck out. Like, I don't want you to like pretend to assist me in this moment. And it's very powerful words. And she is doing what he accuses her of, which is making it harder so that it's easier for her to cope with the breakup. She is doing that, but like, yeah, that's a very human thing to do. And then I just think it's so poignant when immediately she's in the middle of a line about how she wants nothing to do with him. And then he's immediately like almost shot in the heart, and she is obviously like just in her face takes it all back immediately because she knows that that's not true.
And how good Sarah Michelle Gellar is so good because the face acting in that scene is so good. And I think this is when, I think this is the scene. Also, she says, "This is my last office romance," and I'm like, "You liar!"
Right?
You love an office romance.
Yeah,
it's like her favorite thing. So yeah, Angel. I also like that shot of after Angel gets shot when we like pan up to Faith.
Yeah, it's a cool shot.
Right? It looks I really like that, and I like that that's like a sign we had been seeing, right? Like that like whatever marquee. Like that's the street set, right? They've been using, but we hadn't seen like someone up on the letters, and I like the neon green and everything. I just think it looks fucking cool. And Wesley tells them that there is a cure. And what is that cure, Angela?
The cure is the Slayer's blood.
Because
Wesley won't even tell them that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. It's a while before he tells them, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's isn't it Oz that reads the cure? Wesley says that they said no.
He said
the council
no because the council's like, nah, we're not telling you.
Right. I forgot about. You're right. Yeah, I mushed that up in my notes. But and I just skipped a scene. But before that, we
sorry about that.
No. Yeah. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I'm just going all over the place.
We get Willow losing her virginity to
Yes.
Oz.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes.
It's very sweet.
It was so beautiful. And no, because the way that, because I can totally put myself in teenage Angela's mind because they're now way too young for me to even like, it's so weird. Can I just say for a second, like outside of Buffy, just in life, it's such a weird time loopy kind of thing when you watched people that were older than you when you were younger, and then you watch them when you're older but they're trapped in that young space, and it's like, holy shit, these are babies, but you also remember like having a crush when you were it's a weird space.
Wow, you're right.
It's such a weird place to be in because even when I show my kids stuff that like I liked when I was a kid, I was like, man, I used to have a crush on that child.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird, like, to remember that because it was, anyway, that always messes with me, especially when we do these, like, Buffy rewatches, because they were all, I think, a couple years older than me. And you, Ian.
Yeah.
And maybe you, Chris, I don't know. But
yeah, definitely.
But they were all just like a few years older, so they were always older than me. So to go back and watch them as far younger people is just a mind fuck. I don't know.
But I'm going to tell you one of the worst things that happened when I was like looking up Buffy. The thought hit me like, wow, I used to think Giles and Joyce felt so old, and now they don't feel that. Like they feel like regular age, right? Like, and I was like, let me look up how old. Oh God! And I looked up how old Buffy's mom is supposed to be in season 1. She is supposed to be 40. And I was like, motherfucker. Like,
yeah. I guess that makes sense. I have a teenager. I guess that makes sense.
Right? I mean, it does, but it shouldn't make sense.
Wow. Yeah. That is just right on the nose.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When I read that, I think my jaw unhinged. I was like, fuck, no, I can't be as old as the mom. I'm relating to the teenagers, but
right. It's wild. But back to their sweet sex scene.
Yes.
Because I really, I like how Oz was smooth with that. She's like, what are you doing? And he's like panicking.
Yeah.
And he says it in this voice that I remember when I was a young person, I was like, oh yeah, somebody's going to talk to me that way one day. Like, that did it for me as a kid. Whatever that panicking voice he had. Yes. And for Seth Green is a good actor.
Yeah.
Like he's a really good actor, I think, in a lot of things that he does. But I think he was giving really good acting at this point. He's smooth.
Yes.
And even though he's kind of like a nerdy, funny, quirky guy, he's really smooth.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Are you kidding? I don't even think he's like nerdy. I feel like he is the cool guy in a band that is actually cool and is actually nice and like doesn't paint himself as being like cool and nice. He just like, that's kind of how he is.
He's not like a dick from a band.
Yeah.
He's like a really genuinely good guy.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead. Yeah.
That so this is obviously like a big moment for Willow, especially. I mean, she alludes to Oz having had sex prior, but like this is obviously a total first for her, and I think it's kind of unknowingly a big episode for her in that, like, obviously, yeah, you have the immediate impact of she loses her virginity to Oz. It's this big thing that people have kind of been waiting for, more or less.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's her graduation too. And she has an interesting line when they're looking for the cure, I think, and she says something like, "I'm no witch."
Yeah.
Which is also just very, you know, foreshadowy to the future, and it feels like a beginning for her as well.
Yes. I think a lot of this last half of season 3, this is one of the first times I've realized how much of her character development starts here, because like Doppelgangland is when she does the spell with Anya, and she kind of like she at the end of the episode herself punches Anya, and that's like you don't really see Willow do that. And then like in Choices, when she gets kidnapped by Faith and she like does stand up there, she gets punched, but she's like, "You're a worthless waste." And like we see her coming into her own. And in Earshot, she's the one that makes the plan to have all the everyone else like question people at the school. And I like seeing her slowly come into her own. And so I feel like her losing her virginity also makes sense as like she's becoming more of an adult, you know? So she's like becoming confident. She can have sex. She can like plan witch shit and like I don't know. I think you're right.
She can use that 1990s internet like nobody's business.
That's right.
God, every time they like show a computer or talk about any kind of like internet stuff, I'm like, oh boy, this is old.
It is so amazing, though. It's like a time capsule.
She's like, here's the entire city plans right here at our fingertips.
It feels like it's like people who didn't know the internet, but I guess like back then it also was easier.
Didn't. What was around then? AOL, I think. Like,
so Angel is sick, laid up in bed. We get a lot of him like shirtless and sweaty.
And it's so sweet. He's just rubbing her hair and she's like, so, you know, I know it wasn't your first time or whatever. Do you understand? Yeah. And he's like, I feel the same way. It's just so fucking cute.
Well, so Angela, you went. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Because I mentioned Angel, but yeah. So yes, we get.
Sorry.
No. We get the very cute cuddling of Oz and Willow, and also I'm unsurprising to both of you. I'm the Willow in that situation, like the nonstop like verbal vomit where it's like I'm nervous, so I'm just going to talk through this thing. Hi, welcome to Slayerfest '98. And then we get
podcast is born.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get the scene which I do really like of Wesley coming to tell her, oh, like the Watchers Council won't help. And he's like, you can't quit. And she's like, I think of it as a graduation. And like, I know it's corny to say the title of the thing and the thing, but I think it fucking works here, right?
It really works.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was going to be
just draws No, it just draws everything together. I mean, honestly, it's one of the things I wrote down for my favorite lines, just because it's so. Yeah, it really like unites everything. It's like, oh yeah, this is a graduation for all of them. It's really like
it's a metaphor and a real
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the metaphor, but it's also the plot, right? Because it's a literal graduation, but like maturity wise, that's like the metaphor is they're graduating into adulthood. So yeah, I like that. I do feel a little bad for Wesley sometimes. I do. And this is like one of those moments, and I do like when Giles is like, I have nothing to say. When he like kind of goes to Giles, like looks to Giles for help.
Oh, right.
So good. I love good dad Giles, which I mean, he's always a good dad, but I like when he has to like say something or pick it up or whatever, because Giles also can be really fucking sassy, and I like when he's allowed to be a little shitty.
Yes.
Right? So we learn that the cure is Slayer's blood, which you're right, Oz finds out, and then we get our montage of Buffy and Willow kind of getting ready, which I like. Buffy looking in the mirror always reminds me of like Sidney Prescott in Scream, like looking in the mirror, upset in the bathroom. And then Buffy goes to see her ex-girlfriend who poisoned her current boyfriend, or current ex-boyfriend, I guess. They both look, I have to say, they both look so fucking good in this scene.
Yes.
Faith's makeup is like the best it's ever looked. I do really like the straight hair, like the fact that like Faith's in all black with a white top and Buffy's in all black with like red pants. I feel like these outfits are like fucking iconic. Every line of this, I kept writing down shit and was like, okay, I need to stop writing them down because it's just everything they say to each other before their fight is so good. Like, is he dead yet? Oh, look at you, all dressed up in Big Sister's clothes, and you're not going to take me alive. Not a problem. Like, fuck. I feel like once they're like standing face to face, you feel the tension, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's like mostly just them glaring at each other, but it's like, you're like, oh fuck. Waiting for like the fight to kind of like start because you know it's going to be like a brutal fucking brawl. Yeah, and Give Us a Kiss is just so iconic. Like Faith saying that.
Yes.
One, I feel like she fucking meant it. Like, yeah, let's make up before we fucking kill each other. And two, it's just like her delivery with the shitty smile she gives Buffy is so good. Chris, I don't know if so I've said this a lot. They like the sexual tension is absolutely there, but they read to me as like Buffy would be the straight one and Faith would be like the queer one who's like does have a huge crush on the straight friend that maybe is like not into it, but like maybe she would do it once or twice.
I don't know. I can't say that I've given it a lot of thought. Though my fiance, we were just talking this morning about Faith's queerdom, and he's a big proponent of that. So he is making me think in that direction. So I will have to give that some thought. I definitely agree with you that there is sexual tension between them, but yeah, I can't say I've given it much thought as to like how they would present in that kind of scenario together. I will have to mull that over.
I can't. Is it this season where they kind of run wild together for a little bit?
Yeah.
They definitely made out during that time. Like that was definitely they were at the Bronze one night. They had some drinks. They made out. Like that at least happened.
Angela, I like the confidence with which you said that. You're like, yeah, duh, fucking, of course they did.
Some drinks at the Bronze. I'm like, are you guys drinking Diet Cokes? Like,
the Bronze is such a funny concept because, like, I mean, I get that there's underage clubs or whatever, but it's such a small town, and it doesn't seem like there's even it seems like that's the only club.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the underage club. It seems like the only club.
Right. So it's like, what are you all doing? Like, I mean,
everyone there is like 32.
Right. And I guess to be fair, like, even if you're completely ignoring everything that's going on around you, there's probably this sense of like, I'm a party because I could die at any point in time.
Like, yeah, we got school tomorrow and it's a Wednesday night. Let's go get drunk at the Bronze. We could die tomorrow. Who knows?
Right.
That would be my excuse.
Skip that fifth period.
So yeah, they have their huge brawl fight.
And of course, the choreography lands them right in front of that window that everybody is just waiting to smash.
It really is like, it's like, well, we have to smash this window. So like, and I also like during their fight, we do flash to like Giles and Xander doing research, and that's when Xander does the Jaws line of like, we're going to need a bigger boat. And this is also when Xander points out when he's like, good thing no one's ever checked out these books in the library, right? Which I liked.
Right.
We see the mayor eating his gross Gavrok spiders and cut back to Buffy and Faith on the rooftop, kind of, because they crash out a window, but they're on a roof. Buffy handcuffs her. Faith beats her with like a pole. I really think this is like one of my favorite Buffy fights. Like, I think I've had a couple of people say this. The choreography is very specific to each one of them. Like Faith is more like brawling, throwing a punch, just like, I feel like Faith would be the one that isn't like giving her moves much thought. She's just like punching and kicking and is really fucking strong. Whereas Buffy is like, has a fighting method and is like maybe thinking about her next move. I don't know. Again, maybe that's me thinking too much into it, which, Chris, I feel like you have said that to me before. I feel like I had some kind of flashback of like, I was drunk and you being like, I think you're giving this too much thought.
No, I don't know. I would think because I think that Buffy, compared to other Slayers, is very instinctual. Like compared to Kendra,
Yeah.
is very like I'm gonna use my anger and I'm gonna think on my feet. But yeah, Faith, I would say, yeah, you're right. Even takes it a step further than that, and goes by instinct.
The
That I
whole
was right.
fight,
I love that.
I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
And I also am just impressed that in that fucking leather, they're able to do those kicks. Like, how is the leather not ripping? What kind of leather is that? The kicks they were doing, I was like, this is impressive, these pants.
The one Halloween when my friend went as Buffy and I went as Angel, and I bought like cheapy leather pants, I didn't realize how much it's hard to move and you sweat
that's what
so
I'm
much.
saying. Like, that's not an easy, like, how are they moving like that?
Yeah.
With those high leg kicks.
Chris?
How much do you know, Ian? Like, how much do you know about how much they do their own stunts versus having stunt people? Like,
I do know at the very least that they would have to make different versions of the outfits if the outfits were going to be worn like during a big stunt scene, because they'd have to make versions with like padding or whatever, or like if there's like someone flies backwards, they need to have a zip tie underneath there or whatever kind of thing. So I know they would make them a little different and it would just have to look the same. But I think they would shoot the full scene with like Eliza and Sarah kind of doing the fights and then shoot the full scene again, but with the stunt doubles. Like, I don't think it was like all right, Sarah and Eliza can just like sit and like, then the stunt people do the fights. But yeah, that's kind of, I wish I had more, but I don't actually know more about it.
I remember at the time reading something about how it progressed over time. And just that, like, it was, obviously Sarah Michelle Gellar is an amazing fake fighter, but I think that, like, obviously that's a learned, honed skill. And so I think, like, over time, as that happened more, they were able to use more of her actual footage as she became more comfortable and convincing. I feel like I remember hearing that, but maybe I'm just making that up.
That makes sense. I do that all the time when I'm like, did I read this like in an interview, or am I remembering something wrong because I read it on the internet like 35 years ago? So yeah, they have this big fight. They get out on the roof. Faith says something like, you're not going to save them or whatever. They have their like final punches and Buffy does stab her. What do we think about that?
Effectively killing her.
Yeah. What do we think?
I mean, I think that I like that she followed through. She showed up with a goal and she followed through. And I think it was an immediate decision. I don't even think she had to give it thought. Once she knew where the chess pieces were after the poison arrow had been shot, it's like, this is my option.
I agree. Yeah.
And I like that she takes it.
I mean, she kind of has to, but for Buffy, it's weird because Buffy doesn't really kill people.
Right.
Even if they're evil people, she doesn't really, like, that's a human. They hold that to a different standard, even in the Buffyverse. Faith would, but Buffy, so that's got to be something that was lingering. And then of course, Faith taking away the...
Yeah.
That was a dirty pull, but you knew it was, I mean...
You kind of respect it, right?
Yeah, you respect it, because it's like, sorry, Buff.
Yeah. And I love the look on Sarah Michelle Gellar's face of like, motherfucker. Like,
well, okay, I liked it at first, but I think it lasted too long. And I was like, well, fucking chase him then, Jesus.
I did.
She's just standing there for like 37 seconds with this like exasperated look on her face.
I will say, Chris, I have thought that when I'm like, okay, but you jump, like you're fine, you can survive that jump.
Jumped before, you've been outside before.
Jump and get her ass.
Yeah, just like also follow her and jump on the back of that truck, or like jump off the roof and just run down the street. Yeah, but I mean, I the drama of it all I do love, and I love
of course
the like swelling music to like just the close up on her face, and she's like a little bit bloodied, and then the like bum bum of when it like just says be continued is so good. I love it.
So good.
This is genuinely, I think, one of my favorite, if not my favorite Buffy fight scene, fight scene.
Yeah.
So now that we're at the end, what do we think Dawn would have been doing in this episode, Angela?
Let's see. Dawn would have been sulking in the kitchen. Then she would have been begrudgingly packing with Joyce after being told to leave.
Chris?
I'm just gonna like piggyback off of that answer and say that like she makes Joyce stop at like a Wendy's on the way out of town and is like pissed that they like put too much ketchup on her burger and makes her go back to exchange it.
I really
like this. We should insert Dawn in more things.
I want to see that mundane shit in Sunnydale of like Joyce taking her kids to like a fucking Wendy's drive-thru. I think so. I had two things. Either Dawn would have just been very annoyed about having to leave for graduation because she would want to be there, and or would have somehow snuck in and we would have got to see her stake a vampire like finally if she had been there, like kind of like with Cordelia. Although that's not this part of the episode, so never mind. Yeah, so I do think she would have been there and be like upset about leaving. As I was saying that, I was like, oh wait, this is for next episode. What was your favorite scene, Chris?
Oh God, absolute favorite scene. I guess I really liked how much cohesion was realized when the mayor walks into the library. Is that like my most enjoyable scene? No, but I think it ties together so many important things and so many foreshadowy concepts between the past and that moment and what we are to learn in the future.
All right. I like that. Angela, what's your favorite scene?
I say Willow and Oz, but then also, of course, the fight scene. I think that was just, it slayed. Yeah. So good.
For me, it's the fight scene. I love all of it so much. Favorite outfit, Angela?
Actually, in the very beginning, I love Harmony's little two-piece.
I don't even remember it.
I really tuned in. I actually love Mercedes McNabb. I think she's hilarious. And I remember when the first time I ever noticed her on Buffy, I remembered her from being in the Addams Family movies.
Oh, really? I love that.
I remembered that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's that girl that, they said she was selling Girl Scout cookies and do they have real Girl Scouts in them? And or when Wednesday is about to push her into the water or whatever, she was in those movies and I was like, oh my God. So I always really liked her. I was tuned into her and I thought she was such a bitchy, fun character.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like a good character actor. Chris?
I think I really appreciate the little bit of humor we get from Willow's opening outfit. And I think it's later in the episode, she's still wearing the same outfit that they're talking about the Ascension and how horrible it's going to be. And then she walks away and you see she's wearing a smiley face backpack, like the most innocent little girl happy thing. And I just love that juxtaposition.
My favorite outfit is Buffy and Faith's fight outfits. They both look hot. They both look good. I still feel like I try to dress like Faith at 41. I love a jean jacket.
To quote Faith, who wouldn't?
Right. What is the grade we're going to give this episode, Chris?
I'm giving it an A-. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I'm being withholding of the A. It has everything that I want from a Buffy episode ever.
I feel a butt coming on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, and maybe I think Angela and I both did not watch the episode to follow in advance of this podcast because we didn't want to confuse ourselves. But I'm exactly interested to go watch that now and see if I feel like the entire culmination of the two episodes would warrant an A from me. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an A- for now.
All right. Angela?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. I think there's a lot packed into this. It's a very formative episode. It is very conclusionary in a lot of ways. It sums things up nicely. I think, and it's got pretty much, anybody that you would want to see at this point in time, at least has a line.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good ensemble episode with a lot of layers.
I go A+, and I would grade them together as A+, I think. I love this two-parter so much, and I like this and Becoming both do a really good job of giving the two-parters their own, like, they're be continued, but they have their own plot, and that's what I really like. I don't love a cliffhanger, and this really, it gives you a cliffhanger, but it wraps up the plot for this episode, where it's like Buffy has to save, they're thinking about the Ascension, graduation is coming, Buffy has to save Angel, kill Faith, she kills Faith, but does not save Angel, and then we are moving into the next episode. I really like it. Thank you both for joining me for this episode, which is one of my favorites. Thank you all for listening. If you're listening to this on the Patreon, I appreciate it. Chris, tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh my God, find me on Instagram, please, at Chris J. Marchant.
And Angela, where can everyone find you?
Yes, you can find me also on Instagram at Angela MFN Rockstar, and I've got a link tree that'll take you wherever else you need to go.
Nice. Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you both for joining me. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.